You're in a cave. It smells like smoke, wet fur, and mammoth fat. You want romance? Too bad. You have 5 teeth and zero language. The only music is someone wheezing near a fire. And you're the firewood collector. Let's talk about love. 30,000 years before Tinder. This story takes you deep into the smoky confusion of prehistoric mating rituals, where everything was cold, confusing, and probably involved mammoth grease. We explore how courting worked when no one had a concept of personal space, how body odor was a form of communication, and why prehistoric humans thought painting buffalo on a wall might get them lucky. The black humor bubbles up through details like sharing your fur blanket with 5 other people, misunderstandings involving grunts and rocks, and early attempts at jewelry that doubled as dental hazards. With no soap, no privacy, and zero understanding of social cues, prehistoric intimacy was somewhere between a logistical challenge and an evolutionary accident. And yet, somehow, it worked. You're here, aren't you? Let's face it, modern dating is a minefield. Swipe left, swipe right, ghosting, breadcrumbing. The sheer complexity would leave even the most sophisticated Neanderthal scratching their head. But before the invention of dating apps, before the agonizing wait for a text message, before even the concept of personal hygiene, our ancestors had their own unique and often hilarious approach to finding a mate. And the star of this prehistoric dating show, body odor. Yes, you read that right. In a time before deodorant, perfume, or even the concept of showering, body odor wasn't just a side effect of survival. It was a potent communication tool, a pheromonal billboard screaming, "This is me, this is what I eat, and this is how much I sweat." Imagine trying to find a partner when your main selling point is the unique bouquet of your body odor after a week of scavenging for berries and wrestling a woolly mammoth. The olfactory landscape of the Paleolithic era was, shall we say, pungent. The fascinating thing is, our body odor wasn't just a random mix of sweat and dirt. It was a complex cocktail of chemicals, each telling a story about our diet, our health, and even our genetic compatibility. Think of it as a prehistoric version of a dating profile, but instead of a carefully curated list of interests, you're advertising your microbiome. A diet rich in certain plants might result in a subtly sweet scent, while a hunter who successfully snagged a mammoth could exude a scent of triumph, mixed with, let's be honest, a hint of decaying meat. Different hominin species likely had unique olfactory landscapes. Australopithecines, with their more frugivorous diet, might have had a noticeably different scent profile compared to the more carnivorous Homo erectus. Imagine the awkwardness of an interspecies date. Your scent, it's earthy in a very different way than I'm used to. The potential for olfactory misunderstandings was enormous. Did that alluring musk signal a genetically compatible mate or simply a particularly successful scavenging trip? The stakes were high and the margin for error was substantial. This isn't mere speculation. Recent research into the genetics of smell receptors and pheromones has illuminated the remarkable sensitivity of our ancestors' noses. We possess far more olfactory receptors than many other mammals, a testament to the crucial role scent played in their social lives and survival. And it wasn't just about attracting mates. Scent also played a critical role in identifying kin, detecting danger. A rotting carcass might be a sign of a nearby predator, and navigating the complex social hierarchies of prehistoric communities. Think of the sheer complexity, the subtle shifts in scent depending on the season, the influence of perspiration levels after a grueling hunt, the ever present aroma of the communal fire, all blending into one colossal primordial perfume. Our ancestors weren't just selecting mates based on physical appearance. They were evaluating a complex chemical signature, a biological resume that laid bare their health, their diet, and their overall suitability as a potential partner. Now consider the implications for relationship development. A romantic encounter might have started with a cautious sniff, a subtle assessment of the other's olfactory profile. Imagine a prehistoric first date. So tell me about your microbiome, followed by an intense sniffing session that would make any modern day human blush. This wasn't a superficial assessment. It was a deep dive into the other person's genetic makeup, an olfactory assessment of their potential to produce healthy offspring. Of course, this wasn't a perfect system. Misunderstandings were bound to happen. A particularly pungent aroma, the result of a week-old mammoth steak, might be misinterpreted as a lack of hygiene rather than a sign of exceptional hunting prowess. And let's not forget the possibility of competing scents, the aroma of a rival male, the lingering smell of a previous encounter. The prehistoric dating scene was far from simple. The evolution of our own sense of smell and attraction is inextricably linked to this prehistoric olfactory ballet. Our preferences for certain scents, our innate ability to detect subtle pheromonal cues, all have roots in this ancient past. While we may have moved beyond judging potential partners solely on the basis of their body odor, the underlying mechanisms of attraction remain surprisingly similar. That subtle hint of musk, that lingering aftershave, they're all echoes of a time when our noses held the key to romance. The sheer diversity of human body odor was likely enormous, influenced by diet, geographical location, and individual genetics. Coastal communities might have had a distinctly different olfactory signature from those dwelling in inland regions. A hunter who regularly consumed a diet rich in fish would likely smell differently than a gatherer who subsisted on berries and roots. The variety in scent must have been stunning, and this olfactory diversity played a pivotal role in genetic diversity within populations. The less uniform scents ensured a more heterogeneous gene pool, supporting the species' resilience. It's also worth considering the social implications of body odor. Did individuals attempt to manipulate their scents? Did they use natural ingredients to enhance or mask certain smells? The possibility of early forms of perfume or body paint is tantalizing, hinting at a level of self-awareness and social manipulation that surpasses our typical image of prehistoric humans. It paints a picture of individuals actively shaping their olfactory identity, using scent to attract mates or project a particular social image. Imagine a prehistoric alpha male carefully applying crushed herbs to intensify his already musky aroma, a calculated move to impress potential partners and assert his dominance. Furthermore, the understanding of body odor extended beyond attracting mates. It served as a critical component of social bonding and group cohesion. The shared scent of a community, a composite of various individual aromas, blended with the smell of smoke from the communal fire and the earthy scent of their dwelling served to reinforce group identity and distinguish one group from another. The olfactory landscape of a prehistoric village would have been a rich tapestry of scents, communicating everything from individual health and status to the overall well being of the community. Ultimately, the story of body odor in prehistoric courtship is a reminder that the seemingly mundane aspects of our biology can profoundly impact our social lives and our evolutionary trajectory. The quest for romance, then as now, was driven by a complex interplay of biology, environment, and social dynamics, and the nose, that often overlooked sensory organ, played a surprisingly crucial role in shaping the dawn of dating. So, next time you find yourself caught in the modern dating whirlwind, remember the pungent, occasionally bewildering world of our Paleolithic ancestors, a world where the ultimate dating profile was your own unique and potentially overpowering body odor. The bar has certainly been raised, or perhaps lowered, over the millennia. Let's move beyond the realm of olfactory seduction and delve into the surprisingly sophisticated world of prehistoric visual communication, cave paintings. Forget Tinder swiping. Our ancestors had a far more permanent and arguably more artistic method of showcasing their desirability: cave art. These weren't just random doodles, they were meticulously crafted visual narratives, potentially acting as elaborate prehistoric Tinder profiles, showcasing hunting prowess, artistic skill, and ultimately desirability. Imagine a young, virile hunter, muscles rippling from a successful mammoth hunt, painstakingly recreating his triumph on the cool, damp walls of a cave. He's not just depicting an animal, he's broadcasting his skills, his strength, his ability to provide. This wasn't about mere survival, it was about attracting a mate. The vibrant reds and ochres, painstakingly ground and applied, weren't just pigments, they were declarations of intent. They were a visual representation of his success, his status within the community, and his potential as a provider. Consider the intricacy of some cave paintings, the detail, the perspective, the understanding of anatomy. These weren't the crude sketches of simple minded beings. They demanded a level of skill, patience, and artistic vision that we often underestimate in our ancestors. The creation of such art was undoubtedly time consuming, a significant investment of energy and resources. This investment itself signaled something crucial. The artist possessed surplus energy, a key indicator of success and reproductive fitness. In essence, the very act of creating the artwork served as a powerful display of resources and abilities. The animals depicted weren't chosen randomly. The repeated imagery of powerful animals, bison, mammoths, horses, likely symbolized strength, fertility, and abundance. These paintings weren't just realistic representations, they were symbolic statements communicating a range of meanings within the community. The depiction of a particularly large or impressive animal could signify exceptional hunting skill, projecting an image of dominance and competence. This visual bragging served a clear purpose in the mating game, attracting the attention of desirable partners. But it wasn't simply about strength and hunting prowess. Some cave paintings showcase intricate scenes of intertwined figures, potentially representing courtship rituals or even sexual encounters. These depictions, though often stylized and symbolic, hint at a far more complex understanding of human relationships than we might initially assume. The symbolism employed likely varied across cultures and communities, with specific animals or motifs holding different meanings in different social contexts. A particular animal could symbolize different attributes depending on the specific group's cultural narratives and traditions. These paintings were not merely static images, they were dynamic representations of stories, rituals, and beliefs that would have profoundly shaped social interactions and mate selection. The choice of location for these paintings also holds significance. Deep within a cave, away from the daily hustle and bustle of the community, these artistic displays could function as private displays of courtship, aimed at a more select audience. The act of leading a potential mate to this secret gallery of artistic achievements was a powerful act of intimacy, a deliberate showcasing of individual talent, and the implied promise of shelter and security. The darkness, the seclusion, the air of mystery, they all added to the aura of seduction and intrigue, creating an atmosphere that would have intensified the impact of the artistic display. Furthermore, the very act of painting itself involved a level of ritualistic behavior that added to its symbolic significance. The preparation of the pigments, the careful application of color, the selection of the imagery, these were not casual acts, but rather deliberate, purposeful actions imbued with meaning. The ritualistic aspect of creating cave paintings further enhanced their power as expressions of status and desirability. The artist wouldn't just be displaying their skills, they would be demonstrating their knowledge of traditional practices and their connection to the spiritual world. Think about the competition involved. Multiple artists vying for attention and mates might have actively sought to outdo each other, creating increasingly complex and impressive works of art. The cave walls became a canvas for this silent but intense competition, a visual battleground where artistic skill and creative expression became a form of social currency. The size and prominence of the paintings could reflect the artist's standing in the community, with larger and more complex works suggesting a higher social status and increased desirability. This created a powerful feedback loop, greater artistry leading to higher status, further enhancing their attractiveness to potential mates. However, the meaning and purpose of cave paintings remains open to interpretation. Modern researchers continue to debate the exact functions and significance of these prehistoric artworks. Some suggest that the paintings served as part of shamanistic rituals or religious ceremonies, influencing the social dynamics beyond simple mate selection. While the exact meaning might be lost to time, the evidence suggests that these were not simply casual artistic expressions. They were deliberate, symbolic acts imbued with cultural and social significance. The sheer artistry involved, the precision, the perspective, the use of color, points to a cognitive sophistication that surpasses earlier assumptions about prehistoric humans. These were individuals capable of abstract thought, symbolic representation, and complex social interactions, challenging the simplistic portrayals often associated with our early ancestors. They were masters of their environment, not just in terms of survival, but also in terms of communication and social maneuvering. The cave paintings offer a glimpse into a world where visual communication played a crucial role in shaping social structures, relationships, and ultimately the continuation of the species. They weren't just snapshots of the past, they were powerful statements of intent, subtle advertisements for the artist's abilities, and windows into the surprisingly complex mating rituals of our prehistoric ancestors. So the next time you swipe right on a dating app, spare a thought for those Paleolithic artists whose lasting legacy resonates in our modern quest for connection, a quest that has been shaped, in part, by the ancient echoes of their creative spirit. Their art wasn't just about hunting mammoths, it was about attracting a mate, securing a place within the community, and contributing to the enduring story of human evolution. And that, my friends, is a pretty impressive feat of biological and artistic engineering. The cave paintings aren't just ancient art, they're a testament to the ingenious strategies humans have always employed to find love, even if those strategies involved ochre and a lot of patience. The story of prehistoric courtship is a testament to human ingenuity, a constant drive to not just survive, but to thrive, connect, and leave a lasting mark on the world. And what better way to do that than to leave your mark, literally, on the walls of a cave? Beyond the carefully crafted images on cave walls, the Paleolithic courtship scene buzzed with a vibrant tapestry of nonverbal communication. Imagine a world without words as we know them, where the subtle twitch of a muscle, the offering of a prized possession, or even the volume of a grunt could be the difference between a romantic connection and a lonely night by the fire. This was a world where nonverbal cues reigned supreme, a silent language of gestures, gifts, and expressions that spoke volumes about an individual's status, intentions, and desirability. Let's start with the gifts. Forget chocolates and flowers. The prehistoric equivalent might have involved a meticulously crafted stone tool, a particularly succulent piece of meat, or even a collection of vibrantly colored feathers. Essentially, resources that signaled the individual's skill, resourcefulness, and ability to provide. The offering of a gift wasn't merely a material exchange, it was a symbolic gesture, a declaration of intent, a silent promise of future provision. The quality and significance of the gift likely reflected the giver's status within the community, with more elaborate or valuable offerings suggesting greater prowess and desirability. Think of it as the Paleolithic equivalent of a diamond ring, albeit with significantly less sparkle but considerably more practical value. The selection of the gift itself was crucial, a skillfully crafted spearhead, indicative of hunting expertise, would have communicated a very different message than a beautifully carved bone pendant, suggesting artistic talent and a more delicate touch. The choice of gift was a carefully orchestrated display, a curated selection designed to impress and attract. Imagine the subtle competition between potential suitors, each vying to outdo the other with a more impressive offering. The air would have crackled with unspoken rivalry, a silent contest played out through meticulously chosen gifts. Gestures, too, played a critical role in this pre-linguistic world. A subtle glance, a prolonged gaze, a deliberate touch, all could convey a complex array of emotions and intentions. A slight nod of the head, a carefully placed hand on a shoulder. These were not random movements, but rather carefully choreographed displays, the building blocks of a silent conversation. A skilled individual could communicate volumes without uttering a single word, employing a refined vocabulary of body language that spoke directly to the subconscious. The power of posture cannot be overlooked. An erect stance, a confident gait, these subtle cues communicated strength, confidence, and dominance, attracting attention from potential mates. Conversely, a more submissive posture might signal vulnerability and willingness to comply, not necessarily a disadvantage in a society where cooperation was crucial for survival. The subtle nuances of posture, the careful angling of the body, these all served as powerful nonverbal signals, influencing the social dynamics of prehistoric courtship. Then there's the matter of grunts. Yes, even grunts. But these weren't just random vocalizations. They were carefully modulated sounds, conveying a range of emotions and intentions. A deep, resonant grunt might have signaled dominance and strength, while a softer, more melodic vocalization could have conveyed a sense of vulnerability or affection. The volume, tone, and pitch of these prehistoric grunts likely held significant social meaning, shaping the interactions between individuals and influencing the outcome of the courtship process. Consider the impact of a particularly loud and commanding grunt, the acoustic equivalent of a confident boast. This silent language of grunts, gestures, and gifts was not static or uniform. It was a dynamic and evolving system shaped by the social dynamics and power structures of each community. Within the context of a hunter gatherer society, the ability to demonstrate hunting prowess, resourcefulness, and social standing was essential for attracting a mate. Individuals who could effectively communicate these attributes through nonverbal cues had a distinct advantage in the mating game. The success in courtship didn't solely depend on displaying individual strength or resources, however. Cooperative behaviors played a critical role. The ability to work effectively within a group, to participate in communal activities, and to contribute to the overall well-being of the community also influenced an individual's desirability. These behaviors were often communicated through gestures, acts of shared labor, and participation in collective rituals, implicitly conveying cooperation and social responsibility. Imagine the social complexity interwoven into these nonverbal interactions. The intricate dance of subtle gestures, the strategic exchange of gifts, the nuanced interplay of sounds, those formed a rich and complex communication system that transcended mere survival needs. It was a sophisticated method of signaling social status, intentions, and commitment, shaping the social fabric of Paleolithic societies. The nonverbal communication of early humans wasn't merely a precursor to spoken language. It was a sophisticated, independent system with its own grammar and syntax. It was a way of expressing a range of emotions, conveying complex ideas, and navigating the intricacies of social interaction, all without a single spoken word. The very act of offering a gift, a subtle gesture, or a carefully modulated grunt implied a level of intentionality, forethought, and emotional intelligence, demonstrating a depth of social understanding that often goes underestimated when we consider our early ancestors. Consider the implications for modern dating. While our methods have evolved from grunts and gifts to online profiles and elaborate dates, the underlying principles remain remarkably similar. We still use nonverbal cues, body language, gestures, and unspoken signals to communicate our intentions and attract potential partners. The subtle nuances of human interaction, the carefully choreographed dance of attraction, these have been shaping our relationships for millennia, a testament to the enduring power of nonverbal communication in the quest for love. The next time you're on a date, think about the echoes of those Paleolithic ancestors, silently communicating through gestures and gifts, navigating the complexities of courtship with a system far more nuanced than it might initially seem. The evolution of human communication, therefore, is a testament to our ingenuity, a constant refinement of our strategies to connect, communicate, and ultimately thrive. Our journey of love, from cave paintings to dating apps, is a story written in both spoken and unspoken words, a fascinating testament to the enduring power of human connection. The flickering firelight cast long, dancing shadows across the cave walls, illuminating the huddled forms of a Paleolithic family. The air, thick with the smells of wood smoke and damp earth, hummed with a low, almost imperceptible thrum of activity, the rhythmic breathing of sleepers, the occasional rustle of fabric, the soft crackle of the fire. Privacy in this cramped, communal living space was a luxury unknown. Courtship, under these circumstances, became a delicate dance of subtle gestures, carefully chosen words, or the lack thereof, and an acute awareness of the ever present audience. Imagine attempting a romantic interlude with your potential mate while surrounded by snoring relatives, children whimpering in their sleep, and perhaps even the occasional grumpy elder stirring in their bedroll. This wasn't exactly the setting for a candlelit dinner. It was more akin to a boisterous family gathering with the added pressure of romantic aspirations. The challenges of close quarters living significantly impacted Paleolithic courtship, adding layers of complexity to an already intricate social game. The very concept of personal space, so central to modern romantic encounters, was almost non existent. The cave, the primary living space, was also the primary courtship arena. The lack of private retreats forced individuals to adapt their courtship strategies, developing subtle, nonverbal cues that could be conveyed even in the most crowded conditions. A furtive glance across the fire, a carefully placed hand on a shoulder during a shared task. These were not accidental gestures, but rather carefully calibrated signals designed to avoid attracting unwanted attention while still conveying interest. The proximity of others meant that displays of affection had to be carefully measured, a delicate balancing act between expressing romantic interest and avoiding social disapproval. Public displays of affection could be seen as challenging the social hierarchy or disrupting the communal harmony, potentially leading to negative consequences. Social structures played a critical role in shaping courtship behaviors. In some Paleolithic groups, kinship ties held immense sway, influencing mate selection and determining the parameters of acceptable courtship. Marriage within the clan was not uncommon, reflecting a complex interplay of resource management, social stability, and the strengthening of existing alliances. In such situations, courtship became a carefully negotiated process, often involving elaborate rituals and the consent of multiple family members. The living arrangements, with families often sharing close quarters, heightened the social oversight and placed significant constraints on the freedom of individual choice. Other Paleolithic groups exhibited less rigid social structures, allowing for more individual agency in mate selection. Yet, even in these cases, the lack of privacy continued to be a significant challenge. The dense living conditions meant that courtship rituals had to be subtly embedded within everyday interactions. A shared hunting trip, a joint effort in food preparation, or participation in a communal ritual could serve as a veiled courtship opportunity, allowing potential mates to display their skills and capabilities under the watchful eyes of the community. The impact of living arrangements went beyond simple space constraints. It also influenced the dynamics of power and status within the group. Individuals with higher social standing might have had access to slightly more secluded areas within the cave, or they might have been able to command greater attention, effectively shaping the courtship environment to their advantage. In contrast, individuals of lower status might have found it more difficult to find opportunities for private interaction, potentially hindering their courtship prospects. The interplay between social hierarchies and the physical limitations of the living space created a complex web of social dynamics that shaped the outcomes of Paleolithic courtship. Furthermore, individual personalities also played a key role in navigating the challenges of close quarters living. Some individuals might have been more adept at finding moments of relative privacy, using their social skills and knowledge of the community's dynamics to create small, intimate spaces within the larger communal living area. Others might have been more extroverted, using the communal setting to their advantage, relying on public displays of skill or generosity to attract potential mates. The diversity of personality traits within Paleolithic groups undoubtedly added another layer of complexity to the process of courtship. Consider the impact of personality on the strategies employed during courtship. An outgoing individual might have used humor and charisma to attract attention, weaving jokes and playful interactions into communal activities to subtly signal interest. A more introverted individual might have employed a strategy of carefully selected gifts or acts of service, quietly showcasing their skills and resourcefulness within the crowded environment. The ability to adapt one's courtship strategies to the constraints of the living environment was likely a crucial factor in successful mate selection. Moreover, the distribution of resources could also shape the dynamics of courtship. Those who controlled access to vital resources, such as desirable hunting grounds or particularly fertile areas for foraging, might have held a social advantage, enabling them to influence the spatial arrangement within the cave or to attract more desirable mates. The social hierarchy, influenced by factors such as hunting prowess, resource control, or leadership roles, significantly influenced an individual's ability to secure desirable living spaces and consequently influence courtship outcomes. The challenges of close quarters living were not simply obstacles to overcome, they actively shaped the evolution of Paleolithic courtship strategies. The necessity of subtlety, the reliance on nonverbal communication, the intricate dance of social interactions within a confined space, these all contributed to a highly nuanced and complex courtship system. Understanding these challenges provides a richer perspective on the social dynamics of Paleolithic societies and illuminates the incredible resilience and adaptability of early humans. Their ability to navigate the intricacies of love and attraction within the confines of a cave speaks volumes about the ingenuity and complexity of human social behavior, a testament to our ancestors' capacity to find intimacy and connection even in the most challenging circumstances. The enduring power of human connection transcends the limitations of space and time, a constant thread running through the tapestry of human history. Let's face it, romance in the Paleolithic wasn't exactly a walk in the park or even a stroll through a moonlit meadow. It was more like a chaotic game of evolutionary musical chairs, played in a dimly lit cave with a cast of snoring relatives and the ever present aroma of wood smoke. Yet somehow our ancestors managed not only to find mates, but also to propagate the species, leaving us here today to ponder their surprisingly effective, albeit often accidental, courtship strategies. One such happy accident was the sheer proximity of potential mates. In the cramped confines of a cave dwelling, opportunities for chance encounters were far more frequent than in more dispersed settlements. Imagine, for instance, a young woman meticulously scraping hides while a man sharpens his flint tools just a few feet away. The rhythmic scraping, the sparks from the flint, these seemingly mundane activities provided ample opportunities for nonverbal communication, subtle glances, and the chance development of a shared rhythm, a silent connection built on the shared rhythm of daily life. A dropped tool, a shared laugh over a clumsy stumble, these seemingly trivial moments provided opportunities for interaction and the beginnings of courtship. These were hardly planned or orchestrated events. Rather, they were spontaneous occurrences, accidental sparks igniting the flame of attraction. Consider the role of shared tasks in Paleolithic courtship. Hunting parties, collaborative food preparation, the collective effort of building and maintaining shelter. These activities offered abundant opportunities for displaying skill, resourcefulness, and cooperation. A successful hunt was not just a matter of filling the bellies, it was a showcase of prowess, an implicit advertisement of one's value as a potential mate. The man who brought down the largest mammoth suddenly became more attractive, not just because of the bounty he provided, but because his display of hunting skill projected the implicit promise of future provision and protection. Similarly, a woman adept at processing hides or preparing food demonstrated essential skills, highlighting her ability to contribute to the survival of the group and the well being of a potential family. These weren't carefully designed displays, they were functional activities offering a window into one's abilities, a glimpse of one's potential as a partner. Furthermore, the accidental aspect of Paleolithic courtship was intricately woven into the very fabric of social life. Communal activities, such as storytelling around the fire or participating in ceremonies, inadvertently brought potential mates together. Laughter, shared experiences, the forging of social bonds within the group. All of these created an atmosphere conducive to the emergence of romantic relationships. It wasn't a calculated strategy, it was the natural byproduct of a communal lifestyle, a happy accident that facilitated the formation of pairs. The lack of privacy, often viewed as a hindrance, ironically played a crucial role in this accidental success. The constant presence of family and community members acted as an implicit pressure to maintain social harmony, fostering cooperation and encouraging displays of generosity and kindness. A man who constantly clashed with others, or a woman known for her selfishness, was far less likely to find a partner, as their behavior would have been readily observable and negatively evaluated within the close knit community. The lack of privacy, therefore, inadvertently acted as a powerful social mechanism, promoting pro social behaviors and favoring those individuals more likely to contribute positively to the group. Another fascinating aspect of this accidental courtship is the role of shared resources. Access to particularly fertile hunting grounds or desirable food sources was not simply a matter of survival. It also significantly influenced mate selection. Individuals who held control over such resources, either through skill, strength, or social standing, enjoyed a distinct advantage in courtship. This wasn't necessarily a conscious strategy, it was a natural consequence of resource distribution within the group. Those with better access to food had greater energy, better health, and a stronger position to attract mates. It was a happy accident of resource distribution shaping the landscape of Paleolithic romance. However, it's vital to avoid romanticizing the Paleolithic. Courtship was undoubtedly fraught with complexities and challenges. Competition was fierce, disputes were common, and not every encounter resulted in a successful pairing. Injuries sustained during hunting, disputes over resources, or even simple social miscalculations could severely impact an individual's chances of finding a mate. Life was precarious, and romantic success was far from guaranteed. But out of this chaos, out of these accidents, evolved a remarkably resilient system that ensured the continuity of the species. The accidental successes of Paleolithic courtship also have implications for our understanding of human evolution. The remarkable diversity of human populations today is in part a reflection of the diverse mating strategies and successful pairings of our ancestors. The adaptability, resilience, and surprising effectiveness of these seemingly chaotic courtship behaviors contributed significantly to the genetic diversity and robustness of our species. They represented a testament to the ingenuity and adaptability of early humans, their ability to find love and create families even in the most challenging of circumstances. The story of Paleolithic courtship isn't just a tale of romance, it's a story of survival, adaptation, and the enduring power of human connection. Consider the role of shared experiences in fostering attraction, surviving a harsh winter together, collaborating on a large construction project, or navigating a dangerous migration. These shared ordeals forged bonds that transcended the simple act of survival, creating deeper connections that could blossom into romantic relationships. The shared experiences provided a basis for trust, mutual respect, and a sense of shared purpose, all crucial elements in the formation of long term partnerships. These were accidental successes, unplanned consequences of a shared struggle, yet they played a vital role in shaping the social fabric of Paleolithic communities and forging the bonds of love. Furthermore, let us not overlook the impact of artistic expression on Paleolithic courtship. Cave paintings, intricate carvings, and musical instruments. These creative endeavors could have served as subtle displays of skill and imagination, attracting potential mates. The creation of art wasn't merely a means of self expression, it was a form of communication, a way to showcase one's creativity and intelligence, qualities that would have been highly valued in a mate. The accidental success here lies in the unintended consequence of artistic expression playing a crucial role in mate selection, adding another layer of complexity to the Paleolithic courtship landscape. Finally, consider the role of social learning in shaping courtship strategies. Young individuals would have observed the courtship behaviors of older members of their community, learning through observation and imitation. Successful strategies, those that led to successful pairings, would have been more likely to be replicated, ensuring the transmission of adaptive courtship behaviors across generations. This social learning, this unconscious imitation of successful courtship strategies, represents another layer of accidental success in Paleolithic courtship. The efficiency of this implicit transmission of knowledge played a crucial role in the propagation of those strategies that best supported mating success and ultimately species survival. In conclusion, Paleolithic courtship, while far from the romantic ideals of modern society, was a surprisingly effective system shaped by the interplay of chance encounters, shared activities, communal pressures, and the distribution of resources. The accidental successes of this system, the unintended consequences of a communal lifestyle, contributed significantly to the genetic diversity and resilience of our species. The story of Paleolithic courtship is not just a glimpse into the past, but a reflection of the enduring power of human connection, our ability to find love and forge lasting relationships, even in the most challenging of environments. It's a testament to the ingenuity, adaptability, and enduring resilience of our ancestors. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty, the decidedly unromantic side of Paleolithic relationships. While the previous section painted a picture of accidental romance, a rose tinted view of prehistoric courtship, if you will, we must acknowledge the inevitable shadow lurking beneath: jealousy, conflict, and the dawn of drama. Think of it as the Paleolithic equivalent of a reality TV show, complete with simmering tensions, explosive arguments, and the occasional, probably quite literal, clubbing over a perceived slight. Imagine the scene: a prime cut of mammoth steak, freshly procured after a grueling hunt. Several men, their faces smudged with soot and triumph, are vying for the attention of a particularly alluring woman, her eyes sparkling, possibly from hunger, possibly from the allure of a particularly well-built hunter. The air crackles not just with the anticipation of a delicious meal, but with the potent energy of unspoken competition. Suddenly, a less successful hunter, perhaps feeling a pang of jealousy at the attention lavished upon his more robust rivals, lets out a guttural growl, subtly or not so subtly, flexing his biceps. This wasn't some carefully orchestrated power play. It was a primal, instinctive reaction born of insecurity and the deeply ingrained desire to secure a mate. The distribution of resources, as we discussed earlier, wasn't just about survival. It was a major factor in the power dynamics that shaped prehistoric relationships: control over prime hunting grounds, access to readily available water sources, or even possession of particularly sharp flint tools. These could all be sources of conflict, triggering disputes between individuals and groups. The consequences could range from a heated argument to a physical altercation with the spoils of victory, both material and romantic, going to the victor. These weren't simply fights over resources, they were contests for social standing and mating opportunities, often escalating tensions among members of the community. The concept of ownership in Paleolithic times was vastly different from our modern understanding. While the idea of monogamy certainly existed to varying degrees across different groups, it was probably less about exclusive rights and more about negotiated partnerships with social implications. A woman's affiliation with a particular man could offer protection and access to resources, but that didn't preclude other forms of interaction with other members of the community, potentially leading to conflict and jealousy. The men involved might express their feelings in a manner far removed from our modern conventions. Think less passive aggressive Instagram posts and more outright physical confrontation over a coveted resource or access to a particular female. This inherent uncertainty in relationships, coupled with the intensely competitive environment, undoubtedly fueled jealousy and conflict. Imagine the scenario of a woman's attention shifting towards a more successful hunter. The man initially favored might have reacted with frustration, anger, or even violence. This might take the form of challenging his rival in a hunting contest or an outright physical fight to establish dominance. These conflicts weren't just about romantic relationships, though. They often involved complex power dynamics among all members of the group, with the outcome potentially reshaping the social hierarchy and resource distribution within the community. Conflict resolution in Paleolithic societies likely varied depending on the specific group's norms and social structures. It probably involved a combination of physical displays of dominance, negotiations mediated by respected elders, or even ritualistic confrontations designed to diffuse tension without resorting to outright violence. The existence of social norms and hierarchies, coupled with pressures to maintain group cohesion, suggests the presence of conflict resolution mechanisms, albeit very different from the legal and social structures we have today. While the exact mechanisms are lost to time, it's safe to assume that disputes were seldom left entirely unresolved, as continued friction would have severely impacted the ability of the community to survive and thrive. The dynamics of jealousy and conflict also had a profound impact on the evolution of social structures. The need to manage conflict effectively and maintain social cohesion likely influenced the development of kinship systems, social hierarchies, and then even early forms of governance. Groups that were better at resolving disputes internally were probably more successful in the long run. The evolution of social mechanisms, which could mediate conflict and establish order within the group, played a crucial role in shaping the social and behavioral characteristics we recognize as distinctively human. Let's not forget the role of communication, or rather, its limitations, in escalating conflict. The absence of sophisticated verbal language would have made nuanced expressions of emotion challenging. Misunderstandings were likely common, and even seemingly minor gestures could be misinterpreted, leading to escalation. A misinterpreted glance, a seemingly innocuous comment, or even a simple difference in opinion could quickly spiral out of control in the absence of clear, precise, and calmly expressed communication, leading to explosive disputes. Consider the impact of resource scarcity. During times of famine or environmental stress, competition for resources would have intensified, leading to more frequent and potentially more violent conflicts. This could have created selective pressures favoring individuals with greater physical strength, aggressive tendencies, or superior social skills in conflict resolution. It is quite probable that periods of heightened resource stress could have inadvertently led to the development of traits that enhanced a person's survival and reproductive success in a highly competitive environment. Furthermore, the role of status and social standing in relation to conflict cannot be ignored. High status individuals might have been more likely to engage in aggressive behavior or to monopolize resources, leading to increased conflict among lower ranking members. The social implications of these conflicts extended beyond simple resource disputes and impacted the relationships within the community. Finally, consider the role of these conflicts in driving cultural and technological innovation. The need to defend oneself or resolve disputes might have been a catalyst for the development of weapons, tools, and strategies aimed at protecting oneself or establishing dominance. This continuous tension and adaptation within and between groups, the constant cycle of conflict and resolution, could potentially have accelerated the advancement of technology and social structures, shaping the social organization of early human communities in unexpected ways. In short, while our ancestors found love in the midst of accidental encounters and shared activities, their relationships weren't without their share of drama and conflict. Jealousy, competition over resources, and the limitations of communication created a volatile social landscape, constantly shaping and reshaping the social fabric of Paleolithic communities. The very struggles and conflicts within these groups, far from being mere historical footnotes, played a critical role in the evolution of our social structures, conflict resolution mechanisms, and ultimately our species itself. It's a messy, complicated, and often violent story, but one that's essential to understanding the complete picture of prehistoric human relationships. It was a harsh reality TV show, but one with lasting implications. Now, having explored the tempestuous waters of Paleolithic courtship and the ever present undercurrent of conflict, let's shift our gaze to a different, yet equally challenging aspect of prehistoric life: parenting. Forget the romanticized images of idyllic families gathered around a crackling fire. Paleolithic parenting was a grueling, often perilous undertaking, a constant struggle for survival against the odds. Imagine the sheer physical demands: hunting for food, gathering plants, building shelter, all while simultaneously carrying, nursing, and protecting a vulnerable infant or toddler in a world teeming with predators and disease. The first and most obvious challenge was simply providing sustenance. Unlike today's parents who can pop to the supermarket for groceries, Paleolithic parents had to actively hunt and gather their food, a physically demanding and risky endeavor. A successful hunt could mean a feast, but failure meant hunger, potentially starvation, not only for the parents, but for their dependent children. This meant an incredible level of parental investment, long hours spent foraging, tracking, and hunting with little time for rest or leisure. The constant pressure to procure enough food for themselves and their offspring undoubtedly shaped their social behaviors and interactions. Furthermore, the provision of shelter was a never ending task. Constructing and maintaining suitable dwellings, protecting them from the elements and potential predators, was crucial to the survival of the family unit. This required considerable skill and ingenuity, adding another layer of complexity to the already arduous task of raising children. Finding a suitable location, gathering the necessary materials, and constantly repairing damage from storms or animal attacks placed a continuous burden on the parents' time and energy. But the challenges extended far beyond the provision of food and shelter. The Paleolithic environment was a dangerous place, teeming with predators large and small. Protecting children from these threats was paramount. Imagine a mother constantly vigilant, keeping a close eye on her children while simultaneously gathering food or tending to other essential tasks. Every rustle in the bushes, every shadow cast by the setting sun, could represent a potential threat, demanding constant alertness and potentially quick, decisive action to protect their vulnerable young. This state of constant vigilance would have profoundly shaped their psychology and physiology, favoring those who were particularly adept at recognizing and reacting to danger. Disease was another major threat. Without modern medicine or sanitation, infections and illnesses were commonplace and often fatal, particularly for young children with underdeveloped immune systems. Parents faced the constant anxiety of witnessing their children succumb to illness, with little they could do to alleviate their suffering. This constant threat of mortality would have significantly impacted their emotional lives and social behaviors, leading to a profound emphasis on community support and cooperation. The roles of both parents in child rearing were likely intertwined and highly variable across different groups and circumstances. While the simplistic notion of a caveman provider and a cavewoman homemaker is a gross oversimplification, it's likely that the division of labor was somewhat differentiated, influenced by factors such as the physical demands of hunting versus gathering and the inherent biological differences between men and women. Men might have played a more prominent role in procuring food, while women may have had greater responsibility for childcare, though this was undoubtedly not a rigid or universally applicable rule. The collaborative nature of Paleolithic societies likely played a crucial role in offsetting the individual burdens of parenthood. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and other members of the extended family and community likely assisted with childcare, providing crucial support to parents who were struggling with the demands of raising their young. This cooperative approach to child rearing likely boosted the survival rates of children, allowing parents to share the burden and better protect their offspring. The intricate social networks which emerged in prehistoric societies are testament to the importance of community-based support structures in ensuring the continuity of the group. Evolutionary pressures shaped the adaptations that emerged in response to the pressures of parenting. Natural selection favored individuals and groups who were adept at protecting and nurturing their young. Traits such as enhanced parental care instincts, cooperation within family groups, and the development of strong social bonds would have conferred significant survival advantages. This led to the development of increasingly complex social behaviors and structures, ensuring the perpetuation of their genes into the next generation. The enduring power of family bonds, The deep-seated instincts for parental care, and the complex social networks we see in human societies are all echoes of these ancient adaptations. It's important to recognize that the Paleolithic experience wasn't a monolithic entity. The challenges and strategies of parenting would have varied depending on factors such as geographic location, climate, resource availability, and social organization. Different groups employed different strategies to maximize the survival rates of their offspring, leading to a diverse array of cultural practices and social structures. Anthropological studies, while limited, offer some tantalizing glimpses into this diversity, showcasing the remarkable resilience and adaptability of early humans in their efforts to raise their young. Furthermore, the cognitive demands of parenting in the Paleolithic era should not be underestimated. Parents needed to navigate complex social dynamics, manage resources effectively, and make critical decisions that directly impacted the survival of their children. They needed to anticipate threats, devise strategies to mitigate risks, and teach their offspring essential skills for survival. This cognitive complexity underscores the intellectual sophistication of our Paleolithic ancestors. The ability to plan for the future, to anticipate needs, and to transmit crucial information to the next generation formed the basis of cultural evolution and contributed to our species' remarkable success. In concluding this exploration into Paleolithic parenting, it's crucial to acknowledge the inherent uncertainties and unknowns. Our understanding of the past is necessarily incomplete and fragmented. Many details remain lost to the mists of time. However, by combining available evidence from archaeology, anthropology, and evolutionary biology, we can reconstruct a compelling narrative of the challenges, adaptations, and innovations that characterized prehistoric parenting. It was a story of constant struggle and remarkable resilience, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and our innate capacity for cooperation and care. It was a world far removed from our own, yet the echoes of those ancient struggles continue to resonate in the ways we parent, live, and interact today. The relentless pressures faced by our ancestors shaped not only their physical characteristics, but also the very fabric of their societies and cultures, laying the foundations for the complex social structures that we inhabit today. The legacy of Paleolithic parenting continues to shape our world. Now, having peered into the demanding world of Paleolithic parenting, let's shift our focus to a less romanticized, yet equally fascinating aspect of prehistoric relationships: the inevitable cracks in the foundation, the unraveling of bonds, and the often messy process of divorce, breakups, and moving on. Forget the idealized images of eternally harmonious couples sharing a fire. Prehistoric relationships, much like our own, were complex, dynamic, and prone to fracture. Understanding how our ancestors navigated these tumultuous waters can illuminate some surprisingly modern facets of human behavior. The very concept of divorce in the Paleolithic era requires careful consideration. We lack the formal legal structures and societal norms that define divorce today. However, the separation or dissolution of a relationship undoubtedly occurred. The factors contributing to such separations likely mirrored those we see today, albeit with a distinct Paleolithic twist. Infidelity, for example, was probably a significant source of conflict. While we cannot know the exact prevalence, the intense competition for resources and mates would have created situations ripe for extra pair copulations. Jealousy, possessiveness, and the resulting confrontations could have led to the breakdown of existing bonds. The social consequences of infidelity within a small, close knit community would have been far more immediate and impactful than in our larger, more anonymous modern societies. Gossip, ostracism, and even physical violence might have been the unfortunate outcomes. Incompatibility was another possible cause for relationship dissolution. Personality clashes, differing views on resource management, or incompatible parenting styles could have strained relationships to the breaking point. Remember, these weren't simply romantic partnerships, they were also crucial economic and social units. A failure to cooperate effectively in hunting, gathering, or child rearing would have significantly impacted the survival of the individuals involved and the wider community. Such conflicts, rather than being dismissed as minor disagreements, could have had life or death consequences. The loss of a partner due to illness, injury, or predation would have been a profound and devastating event. This would not only create emotional distress, but also significantly alter the economic and social dynamics of the remaining partner and children. Suddenly, a single individual would have to shoulder the burden of providing food, shelter, and protection, a task that was incredibly challenging even with two adults. In such cases, social support networks likely played a crucial role in providing assistance and mitigating the impact of this loss. What then happened when a relationship ended? Did prehistoric people simply pack up and leave? Did they engage in a complex series of negotiations and arrangements? The answers, unsurprisingly, are complex and nuanced. The availability of resources, social structures, and the presence of alternative partners would have significantly influenced the course of action. One possibility is a relatively amicable separation. If resources were plentiful and both individuals could manage independently, they may have simply parted ways, perhaps maintaining a level of social interaction depending on family ties or communal needs. This may have been more likely for older individuals or those who had already produced offspring. In other cases, resource scarcity or the presence of dependent children might have necessitated more complex arrangements. One partner might have remained in the existing dwelling, while the other sought a new residence, maintaining some level of contact for the sake of the children. Alternatively, separation might have been far more abrupt and less amicable, resulting in conflicts and disputes over resources or territory. Physical altercations, though not necessarily common, could not be ruled out, especially in scenarios involving significant power imbalances. The social consequences of such conflicts would have been far reaching, potentially impacting the reputations and social standing of the individuals involved, and even threatening the stability of the broader community. The concept of moving on in a Paleolithic context is intriguing. Moving on might have literally meant finding a new cave or shelter with little in the way of permanent housing or personal property. Leaving a relationship would likely have involved a relatively straightforward physical relocation. However, the social implications of such a move would have been significant. The individual leaving might have faced social stigma, potentially impacting their access to resources and social support. Another layer of complexity is added when we consider the role of children in separations. Parental disputes might have involved negotiations regarding the custody and care of the children. Although the concept of legal custody is alien to the Paleolithic era, arrangements would still have needed to be made to ensure the welfare of the children. This would have likely involved a mix of informal agreements, community mediation, and the involvement of extended family members. The impact of separations on social structures is difficult to ascertain with certainty, but the effect would undoubtedly have been significant. The maintenance of social order and harmony would have been crucial for the survival of the community. Therefore, the mechanisms for resolving conflicts and managing separations would have evolved over time to minimize disruptive effects. The development of complex social networks, strong kinship ties, and elaborate rituals all played a crucial role in managing the social consequences of relationship breakdowns. This suggests a level of societal sophistication in resolving conflicts and rebuilding social bonds that is often underestimated. In considering prehistoric relationship dynamics, it's vital to resist the temptation to impose contemporary values and expectations onto the past. The motivations, behaviors, and consequences of separation were undoubtedly shaped by the unique ecological, social, and cultural context of Paleolithic societies. The evidence, while limited and often indirect, suggests a complex interplay of factors that determined how individuals handled relationship breakdowns and adjusted to new circumstances. The ability to adapt to changing social dynamics and maintain social cohesion in the face of disruption was likely a key factor in the survival and success of Paleolithic communities. Ultimately, studying the potential for divorce, breakups, and moving on in prehistoric times offers a rich tapestry of insights into the evolution of human relationships, revealing surprising parallels and illuminating the enduring challenges of human connection across millennia. It allows us to appreciate the adaptability and resilience of our ancestors, showing that even in the most basic of societies, relationships, however temporary, held a vital, albeit often turbulent, role in shaping their lives and the course of human history. The echoes of these ancient struggles, these triumphs and failures, continue to resonate in the complexities of our own modern relationships. Now, let's delve into the fascinating and often messy interplay between social status, hierarchy, and the prehistoric dating scene. Forget the notion of a level playing field. The Paleolithic world, like many societies throughout history, was a hierarchy, albeit a fluid and often contested one. Social standing, determined by a complex mix of factors, including hunting prowess, skill in crafting tools, access to resources, and, of course, the sheer power of personality, significantly shaped the landscape of romantic relationships. Imagine a scenario: a particularly skilled hunter, known for bringing down the largest mammoths and sharing his bounty generously, versus a less successful hunter struggling to provide for his family. The highly successful hunter, basking in the glow of community admiration, would have likely enjoyed a significantly broader selection of potential partners. His elevated status translated directly into increased mating opportunities. This isn't to suggest a system of enforced monogamy for the less fortunate. It was more of a probability issue. The alpha hunter likely faced less competition and could afford to be more selective. He might even have had multiple partners, a situation not uncommon in various animal species and likely present in certain human groups, especially considering the high infant mortality rate of the era. The less successful hunter, on the other hand, might have faced stiffer competition, had to settle for fewer options, or perhaps resort to strategies like forming alliances or demonstrating other valuable skills to improve his chances. The implications of such a hierarchical system extend beyond mere mate selection. It inevitably impacted resource distribution. Higher status individuals, usually those with greater social influence and the most robust alliances, likely had preferential access to prime hunting grounds, better tools, and a greater share of the community's bounty. This unequal distribution of resources fueled both social stability and, paradoxically, instability. The stability arose from a system that rewarded success and encouraged cooperation within established hierarchies. But the very existence of this hierarchy created the conditions for conflict, resentment from those with lower status, competition for ascension, and potential challenges to established power structures. Consider the role of courtship. While we lack detailed accounts of prehistoric courtship rituals, it's reasonable to assume that high status individuals would have engaged in more elaborate displays of skill and generosity to attract mates. Perhaps the most adept hunter would perform elaborate dances, demonstrating his prowess with spears, or offer the most prized cuts of meat to potential partners. A lower status individual might rely on different tactics, displaying remarkable artistry in crafting tools, exhibiting exceptional knowledge of medicinal plants, or demonstrating tireless work ethic. Ultimately, courtship in such a society would be a showcase of valuable skills and abilities, a strategic demonstration of one's contribution to the survival and well being of the group. The overall goal was securing a partner who would contribute significantly to the collective success of their future family unit. The formation of long term relationships, too, was influenced by the prevailing social hierarchy. A union between two high status individuals would have solidified and extended their existing influence and access to resources. Such unions would have been politically significant, strategically aligning powerful groups and reinforcing existing social structures. Conversely, a union between individuals from differing social strata could have created complex dynamics, potentially bridging the gap between social classes or conversely exacerbating existing tensions. Such a relationship might offer upward mobility for a lower status individual while potentially diluting the power of a high status individual's family connections. The successful navigation of such cross status relationships would require considerable diplomacy and shrewd social maneuvering. One must also acknowledge the potential for social mobility. While the societal hierarchy might have appeared rigid, it wasn't necessarily static. Exceptional skill, extraordinary luck, or even a fortuitous act of heroism could elevate an individual's social standing. A particularly successful hunt, a crucial invention, or a brave act of selflessness could catapult someone from relative obscurity to prominence, opening doors to new mating opportunities and a vastly improved quality of life. This fluidity, however limited, acted as a safety valve, lessening the intensity of potential social unrest by offering avenues for advancement and highlighting the possibility of social climbing through demonstrable merit. Furthermore, the social hierarchy likely influenced conflict resolution within relationships. Disputes between high status individuals would be addressed differently than those between lower status individuals. For those at the top, there might be a stronger impetus towards formal mediation or negotiation to maintain social order and avoid disrupting the established hierarchy. On the other hand, conflicts amongst lower status individuals might have been resolved through less formal mechanisms, perhaps within the context of extended family networks or other existing social structures. The community would need to carefully balance addressing individual grievances while simultaneously minimizing disruptions to the overall social structure. The distribution of resources significantly impacted the stability of relationships. A couple experiencing scarcity would face significantly greater stress and strain compared to a couple with plentiful resources. A couple's ability to gather resources would play a significant role in maintaining their status within their social group. If a successful hunter suffered injuries or illnesses, it would directly impact the couple's social and economic status, potentially influencing the dynamics of their relationship. The absence of a reliable food source would introduce considerable pressure on both partners, perhaps leading to increased conflict and a higher likelihood of separation. In conclusion, the social status and hierarchy within prehistoric societies profoundly shaped the dynamics of mating patterns and relationships. The interplay of status, resource distribution, courtship rituals, and conflict resolution created a complex social landscape where both stability and instability were inextricably intertwined. While generalizations are risky, considering the vastly different environments and cultures across the Paleolithic era, it's clear that social standing was not just an abstract concept. It profoundly impacted the lives, relationships, and ultimately the survival strategies of our ancestors. Understanding this interplay provides a crucial key to unlocking the complexities of early human social organization and the enduring influence of social hierarchies on human behavior. The echoes of these ancient power dynamics are remarkably apparent, even in the intricacies of modern relationships, highlighting the deep rooted nature of societal structures and the enduring human desire for status and belonging. The struggle for social position, a drive woven into the very fabric of our evolutionary past, continues to shape our lives today, reminding us that some aspects of human nature have indeed remained constant across millennia. Beyond the cozy confines of their own immediate social groups, our ancestors engaged in a fascinating dance of intergroup interactions, a complex interplay of diplomacy, competition, and occasionally outright conflict. Mate selection wasn't limited to the familiar faces within the campfire's glow. The allure of partners from other groups carrying a genetic diversity that could potentially benefit their offspring presented both extraordinary opportunities and significant challenges. Imagine the logistical hurdles, traversing treacherous landscapes, navigating unfamiliar territories, and potentially confronting hostile encounters with rival groups. The decision to venture beyond one's own group was not taken lightly. The risks were considerable. Unfamiliar customs, different dialects, and potentially conflicting social structures could create enormous difficulties. The potential for misunderstanding and conflict was high, ranging from petty squabbles over resources to full blown territorial wars. A potential mate from another group might bring with them not only genetic diversity, but also potential alliances, or conversely, new sources of conflict. Such unions could strengthen intergroup relations or severely exacerbate pre existing tensions. Geographic factors played a crucial role in shaping intergroup relationships and mate selection. Groups living in close proximity were more likely to interact, creating more opportunities for both conflict and cooperation. The nature of the terrain also influenced the ease or difficulty of travel. Groups separated by vast distances or insurmountable obstacles, such as mountain ranges or large bodies of water, would have had far fewer interactions, limiting the opportunities for intergroup mating. River valleys, however, often acted as natural highways, facilitating movement and contact between different groups, potentially fostering genetic exchange and cultural diffusion. The social structures of each group also heavily impacted intergroup relations. Groups with highly centralized power structures, led by charismatic leaders or powerful elders, might be more inclined to engage in strategic alliances or carefully negotiate potential mating partnerships with other groups. This could involve elaborate gift giving ceremonies or potentially even hostage exchanges as a testament of trust and good faith. In contrast, groups with less clearly defined social structures might have exhibited more unpredictable and potentially volatile behavior when interacting with other groups. The potential for raiding, abduction, or skirmishes over resources would have been far higher. Consider the challenges inherent in long distance relationships, even in the prehistoric world. Maintaining contact across vast distances would have been incredibly difficult. Communication would have been limited, reliant on infrequent encounters, messengers, or potentially even elaborate signal fires. The potential for miscommunication or the complete breakdown of communication would have added significant stress to such relationships. Maintaining trust and fidelity over such distances would have demanded an exceptional degree of commitment and mutual understanding, a testament to the strength of certain prehistoric bonds. The evolutionary consequences of intergroup mating were profound. The introduction of new genes into a population could have conferred a selective advantage, enhancing its adaptability and resilience to disease or environmental changes. This genetic exchange, facilitated by intergroup interactions, would have been crucial for the survival and prosperity of human populations throughout the Pleistocene. However, it's also important to acknowledge the potential drawbacks. The introduction of genes carrying harmful mutations could negatively impact the health of a population, highlighting the delicate balance between the benefits and risks of interbreeding. The rewards of intergroup relationships, beyond the genetic benefits, were significant. Strategic alliances between groups could offer protection against predators or rival groups. Access to resources and trade routes could be secured, bolstering the economic and social well being of each community. These alliances could have been cemented through marriage, highlighting the critical role of mate selection in fostering cooperation and stability between different groups. A successful intergroup marriage could potentially resolve long standing conflicts, creating lasting peace and facilitating beneficial trade relationships. The complexities of prehistoric intergroup interactions are not easily deciphered. Archaeological evidence can offer tantalizing clues, such as the presence of artifacts from distant regions or the skeletal remains revealing genetic diversity, but we are often left piecing together a fragmented narrative. The absence of written records forces us to rely on indirect evidence, carefully examining patterns of settlement, trade routes, and the distribution of artifacts to paint a picture of ancient social interactions. Ethnographic studies of contemporary hunter gatherer societies, while not perfect analogies, can provide valuable insights into the potential dynamics of intergroup relationships, offering a glimpse into how our ancestors might have navigated the challenges and rewards of forging connections beyond their immediate communities. The study of prehistoric mate selection and intergroup interactions is more than just an academic exercise. It unveils the intricate tapestry of social dynamics that shaped the course of human evolution. By understanding the challenges and strategies employed by our ancestors, we gain a deeper appreciation for the resilience, adaptability, and the remarkable capacity for cooperation that have enabled our species to thrive across millennia. The echoes of these ancient interactions resonate in our modern societies, highlighting the enduring importance of intergroup relationships, the complexities of mate selection, and the intricate dance between competition and cooperation that continues to shape human social life. Indeed, the prehistoric struggle for survival, love, and alliances across group boundaries continues to echo in the human drama unfolding today, a reminder that the fundamental drivers of human behavior have deep evolutionary roots. The complexities of love, competition, and the pursuit of connection are not merely modern inventions, but the threads from which the rich tapestry of human history has been woven. The cave paintings of Lascaux, Chauvet, and Altamira whisper tales of ancient courtship, though their voices are faint and fragmented. We see rendered animals, stylized humans, and sometimes suggestive imagery that hints at rituals, perhaps even ceremonies related to mating. These paintings offer a tantalizing glimpse into the lives of our ancestors, but interpreting their precise meaning requires considerable speculation. Did those vibrant images serve as visual advertisements for desirable mates, perhaps depicting successful hunters or skilled craftspeople? Were they part of courtship rituals, a way to impress a potential partner with artistic prowess and storytelling ability? Or were they something else entirely, an attempt to influence the spirit world, to aid in successful hunts or ensure plentiful harvests, inadvertently incorporating elements of courtship in their broader context? The truth is lost to time, leaving us to ponder the mysteries concealed within those ancient pigments. The evolution of courtship rituals is a fascinating journey through time, a complex interplay of biological imperatives, cultural traditions, and technological innovations. Consider, for example, the significance of adornment. Archaeological findings reveal that even in the Paleolithic era, humans decorated themselves with feathers, shells, bones, and pigments. These adornments were likely more than mere fashion statements. They served a crucial purpose in courtship. Brightly colored pigments or striking ornaments could have signaled health, vitality, and social status, all desirable traits in a mate. The intricate crafting of jewelry or the meticulous application of body paint could have demonstrated skill and patience, suggesting desirable qualities like resourcefulness or conscientiousness. Think of the peacock's extravagant tail, a testament to the power of conspicuous consumption in attracting a mate. Similarly, our ancestors may have used elaborate adornment as a way of demonstrating their ability to acquire valuable resources or to showcase their artistic and creative skills. As human societies evolved and became more complex, so did their courtship rituals. The development of language allowed for a more nuanced form of communication, paving the way for courtship displays involving verbal exchanges, storytelling, and even song. Imagine the emergence of courtship songs, perhaps primitive versions of ballads or serenades, used to express affection, charm a potential partner, and demonstrate vocal skills. The ability to compose and sing captivating melodies could have been a powerful tool in attracting a mate, showcasing creativity and musical talent. These songs might have described heroic deeds, recounted family history, or simply expressed a yearning for companionship, all serving to establish the singer's position within the community and his or her potential as a partner. The Neolithic Revolution ushered in a new era of courtship, with agriculture and settled life leading to increased social complexity and new forms of mate selection. The accumulation of wealth and property played a more significant role in courtship, as did the emergence of social hierarchies. Dowries and bride prices became commonplace, signifying the economic value placed upon potential mates and their families. Marriages often served as strategic alliances between families or groups, strengthening social bonds and ensuring mutual economic benefit. In this context, courtship evolved to include displays of wealth, status, and family connections, often involving elaborate ceremonies and gift giving. The rise of civilizations brought about even more intricate courtship rituals, often influenced by religion, mythology, and societal norms. Formal betrothal ceremonies, elaborate weddings, and complex social rules surrounding courtship became the norm. Think of the elaborate marriage customs of ancient Egypt, the arranged marriages of the Roman Empire, or the elaborate matchmaking rituals of various Asian cultures. These rituals reflect the evolving social structures and cultural beliefs of the time, with courtship becoming an increasingly formalized and socially regulated process. The advent of technology has profoundly influenced courtship rituals in the modern era. The printing press, the telegraph, the telephone, and most recently the internet have transformed how people meet, communicate, and form relationships. Consider the impact of the rise of personal advertisements, enabling individuals to seek out compatible partners beyond their immediate social circles. The evolution of dating apps such as Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge has further revolutionized the process of courtship, creating unprecedented opportunities for connections, but also presenting unique challenges in navigating the complexities of online interactions. The carefully curated profiles, the fleeting encounters, and the emphasis on visual appeal offer both exciting opportunities and potential pitfalls. Yet, despite the profound changes brought about by technology and societal evolution, some underlying themes in human courtship remain remarkably consistent. The desire for a partner who is healthy, attractive, and socially desirable persists across cultures and throughout history. The importance of communication, trust, and mutual respect endures. The biological and psychological drivers of attraction, such as the search for genetic compatibility, the desire for long term stability, and the innate need for connection, remain fundamental aspects of human courtship, regardless of the particular cultural or technological context. The enduring themes of courtship rituals reveal a remarkable continuity between our prehistoric past and our modern lives. The fundamental biological and psychological mechanism that drive mate selection have been shaped by millions of years of evolution. The strategies employed by our ancestors to attract mates, demonstrating skill, displaying resources, and communicating desirability, find echoes in the courtship practices of contemporary society. The desire for connection, the yearning for love, and the fundamental human need for belonging transcend the specific details of time and place, revealing the enduring power of our evolutionary heritage. From the cave paintings of our ancestors to the sophisticated algorithms of modern dating apps, the story of courtship is a rich tapestry woven from threads of biology, culture, and technology. Our prehistoric past profoundly shapes our modern dating lives, reminding us that the complexities of love, attraction, and the search for a mate are not merely modern inventions, but deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. Understanding this historical context enables us to appreciate the richness and complexity of human relationships and to navigate the challenges and opportunities of courtship in the modern world with a deeper understanding of our own biological and cultural heritage. The echoes of ancient courtship rituals resonate in the digital age, demonstrating that the human heart, despite technological advancements, continues to beat to the rhythm of its ancient evolutionary drum. The quest for connection, the yearning for companionship, the drive for procreation, these are themes as old as humanity itself, played out in settings as diverse as the prehistoric savanna and the digital landscape of today. The dance of courtship continues, evolving, adapting, yet retaining its fundamental ancient essence. Let's face it, even in our hyper-connected, emoji-laden world, words often fail us. We stumble over declarations of love. Our carefully crafted texts fall flat, and even the most eloquent proposal can feel awkward. Yet simultaneously, a subtle glance, a fleeting touch, or a knowing smile can convey a depth of meaning that volumes of prose simply cannot. This is the enduring power of nonverbal communication, a legacy inherited from our prehistoric ancestors. Long before the invention of language, our hominid forebears relied heavily on nonverbal cues to navigate the complexities of social interaction, including, of course, romance. Think of a peacock's dazzling display, a vibrant explosion of color and intricate patterns designed solely to attract a mate. The elaborate fanning of its tail isn't a verbal declaration of love, it's a powerful, silent statement of genetic fitness and resourcefulness. Similarly, our ancestors, lacking the articulate vocabulary of modern humans, communicated their intentions, desires, and suitability as partners through a sophisticated repertoire of body language, gestures, and facial expressions. Imagine a potential mate subtly adjusting their posture, a flirtatious glance accompanied by a playful touch, These were the tools of the prehistoric dating scene. These actions, rooted in evolutionary biology, weren't arbitrary. They were strategic displays, broadcasting crucial information about health, social standing, and reproductive potential. The subtle art of flirting, also often dismissed as mere playful banter, has a surprisingly ancient lineage. A raised eyebrow, a playful touch, a lingering gaze, these seemingly insignificant gestures are encoded deep within our genetic memory. They represent remnants of courtship rituals honed over millennia, signaling interest, evaluating potential partners, and negotiating the intricate dance of early romance. These were not simply random behaviors. They were carefully calibrated displays designed to maximize reproductive success. A confident posture, for example, would have signaled dominance and strength, highly desirable traits in a mate, particularly in environments where physical prowess was crucial for survival. Conversely, shy, demure behavior could have signaled a gentle nature, perhaps associated with nurturing abilities. Evolutionary psychology provides a framework for understanding the persistence of these nonverbal cues. Our brains, shaped by millennia of natural selection, are hardwired to respond to certain nonverbal signals. We instinctively interpret subtle shifts in body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, often unconsciously. A fleeting smile, for example, can trigger a cascade of neurochemical responses, flooding our brain with dopamine and other pleasure inducing chemicals, even before conscious cognition fully processes the event. This is the power of nonverbal communication. It bypasses the rational mind, tapping directly into our primal emotional centers. Consider the significance of eye contact. A prolonged gaze, particularly in the context of courtship, is a powerful signal of interest and attraction. In many cultures, a direct, sustained gaze is interpreted as a sign of confidence and dominance, while averted eyes might indicate shyness or submission. These interpretations, rooted in our evolutionary history, continue to shape our modern interactions. We unconsciously assess the eye contact of a potential partner, interpreting its intensity, duration, and context to glean valuable information about their personality and intentions. A shy glance, a lingering gaze, a brief contact, each conveys a different message, silently weaving a narrative of attraction, desire, and potential compatibility. Our ancestors didn't just rely on visual cues. Tactile communication, the subtle art of touch, also played a crucial role in prehistoric courtship. A gentle touch on the arm, a fleeting caress of the hand, a comforting embrace. These physical interactions conveyed intimacy, affection, and a sense of connection that transcended the limitations of language. Touch, particularly in the context of romantic relationships, releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone, further reinforcing the emotional bond between partners. This neurochemical response, deeply embedded in our evolutionary biology, explains why even a casual touch can evoke such powerful emotions. The evolution of nonverbal communication is not a static process. It is a dynamic, ever-evolving system shaped by both biological and cultural influences. While our innate predispositions to respond to certain cues remain largely unchanged, the specific manifestations of nonverbal communication vary across cultures and historical periods. What might be considered a flirtatious gesture in one culture could be interpreted as disrespectful or inappropriate in another. This cultural overlay complicates the interpretation of nonverbal cues, emphasizing the need for awareness and sensitivity in our interactions. However, despite cultural variations, some universal themes emerge. A genuine smile, for example, is almost universally recognized as a sign of happiness and friendliness, regardless of language or cultural background. Similarly, the expression of anger, fear, or sadness often involves similar facial expressions across different cultures, hinting at a deep seated biological basis for these emotional displays. These universal expressions highlight the remarkable continuity between our prehistoric past and our modern social interactions. The power of mirroring, a subtle form of nonverbal communication where individuals unconsciously mimic the gestures, posture, and expressions of their interaction partners, further reinforces the connection between our past and present. Mirroring is often an unconscious behavior, yet it plays a crucial role in building rapport and empathy. When we mirror the body language of someone we find attractive, we are subtly signaling our interest and creating a sense of connection. This unconscious mirroring behavior is thought to have evolved as a means of establishing social cohesion and facilitating group cooperation. Even our vocalizations, beyond words, convey meaning. The tone of voice, the rhythm of speech, the subtle inflections, these elements of communication are often more revealing than the words themselves. A sarcastic tone can completely alter the meaning of a statement, while a hushed whisper can convey intimacy and intrigue. These nonverbal vocalizations were likely critical in prehistoric courtship, allowing individuals to express affection, dominance, or submission without the need for complex linguistic structures. The use of vocalizations, combined with body language, would have greatly aided in courtship rituals. In conclusion, while technology has revolutionized our lives, the power of nonverbal communication remains an enduring legacy of our prehistoric past. From the subtle glance of attraction to the comforting touch of affection, these silent signals continue to shape our relationships, weaving a complex tapestry of meaning and emotion. Understanding the evolutionary origins of these nonverbal cues allows us to appreciate the richness and complexity of human interaction and navigate the sometimes bewildering world of courtship with a newfound sensitivity to the silent language of love. The dance of courtship, it seems, has changed its music, but the basic steps remain the same. The sheer volume of dating apps available today might lead one to believe that the human pursuit of love has undergone a radical transformation. Swiping left or right, crafting the perfect bio, navigating the minefield of online communication. It's a far cry from the grunts and gestures of our prehistoric ancestors. Yet, beneath the veneer of modern technology, the fundamental desires and challenges of human connection remain surprisingly constant. The yearning for companionship, the thrill of attraction, the anxieties of rejection, these are emotions as old as humanity itself. Consider the concept of showing off. Our modern world offers a dazzling array of ways to showcase our accomplishments: Instagram worthy vacations, meticulously curated LinkedIn profiles, even the humble bragging rights associated with a particularly impressive Spotify Wrapped. These are all digital equivalents of the peacock's flamboyant tail, symbolic displays designed to attract attention and impress potential partners. While the methods have evolved, the underlying motivation remains the same: to signal our value and desirability to potential mates. The cave paintings of our ancestors, arguably the earliest forms of self expression and social media, served a similar purpose. They weren't merely artistic endeavors, they were declarations of skill, creativity, and social standing, all crucial factors in prehistoric courtship. The pursuit of status, too, transcends the ages. In prehistoric societies, status might have been determined by hunting prowess or social standing within the tribe. Today, we measure status through career success, financial stability, or even the number of followers on social media. The underlying need for social validation and recognition, however, persists. We strive for success, not just for personal fulfillment, but also to enhance our attractiveness to potential partners. This is not to say that everyone is driven solely by materialistic ambition in their search for a mate, but the desire to present a positive image, to be seen as someone desirable and worthy of companionship, is a fundamental human characteristic shared across cultures and epochs. Another compelling parallel lies in the complexities of communication. While we have sophisticated languages and advanced communication technologies at our disposal, miscommunication still plagues modern relationships, much as it likely did in prehistoric times. The subtleties of tone, the nuances of body language, the potential for misinterpretations, these challenges were as relevant then as they are now. Imagine trying to convey your romantic intentions to a potential mate using only gestures and grunts. The potential for misunderstandings, for mismatched signals, was immense. Today, with all our sophisticated communication tools, miscommunication is still a frequent source of conflict in relationships. A poorly worded text, a misinterpreted email, a misconstrued facial expression. These everyday occurrences highlight the enduring challenges of communicating our thoughts and feelings accurately. Jealousy, a potent emotion that can both fuel and destroy relationships, also boasts a deep evolutionary history. In prehistoric times, the competition for mates was often fierce, leading to conflicts and rivalries within social groups. While the forms of jealousy may have evolved, the underlying emotion remains remarkably consistent. Today, jealousy might manifest itself in checking a partner's social media accounts, expressing possessiveness, or reacting defensively to perceived threats. These behaviors, while seemingly modern, reflect the primal anxieties of mate competition and the desire to secure a stable, long term relationship. The fight for access to the best resources and reproductive opportunities, the core drivers of much prehistoric conflict, continues to be played out, albeit in subtler forms, in the modern world. The role of social groups also remains a key factor in human relationships, both then and now. In prehistoric societies, social networks provided crucial support and protection. Finding a mate within one's social circle was often the norm, ensuring cooperation and reducing conflict. Today, we often seek partners through our social circles, whether through friends, family, or shared social groups. Our need for social validation and belonging extends beyond the individual level, influencing our choices in romantic partners. We choose to be with those that our social networks approve of, ensuring that we are not ostracized for those choices. The approval of our friends and family can be more important than even our personal desires, illustrating how ingrained our need for social approval is within our psychology. Therefore, much of our mate selection is dictated by social factors, not just personal preference. Even the concept of courtship, while drastically different in its specific rituals, retains fundamental similarities. In prehistoric times, courtship might have involved elaborate displays of strength, skill, or generosity. Modern courtship might involve elaborate dates, thoughtful gifts, or public demonstrations of affection. But the underlying objective remains the same: to impress a potential mate and signal one's suitability as a partner. The desire to create a connection, to build rapport, to signal suitability. These are common features across time and across culture. The unexpected parallels between prehistoric and modern relationships extend to the challenges and complexities of maintaining long term bonds. The need for cooperation, communication, and mutual understanding was just as important in prehistoric communities as it is in modern relationships. The daily grind of living together, resolving conflicts, and raising children. These were as challenging in the Paleolithic era as they are today. The difficulties that arise in relationships are not new. They are deeply ingrained within our evolutionary past. The conflicts that arise are a result of our innate needs and desires, not necessarily a failure of modern culture. Furthermore, the resilience of human relationships, the capacity for enduring love and commitment, is a testament to the fundamental power of human connection. While the tools and contexts of love have changed dramatically, the underlying emotional needs and desires remain surprisingly consistent. The yearning for intimacy, the comfort of companionship, the joy of shared experiences. These are sentiments that transcend time and culture, reminding us of the enduring power of human connection. The search for love and companionship is not just a cultural or technological phenomenon, but a primal drive integral to our species' survival. This drive, while expressed through different cultural norms, remains a constant throughout history. In conclusion, while technology and culture have transformed the specifics of human relationships, the fundamental aspects of attraction, courtship, and long term commitment remain surprisingly constant. From the elaborate displays of our prehistoric ancestors to the sophisticated strategies of modern dating, the human desire for connection continues to shape our lives, reminding us of the enduring power of love and the surprisingly consistent patterns of human behavior across millennia. We may have traded grunts for emojis, but the underlying dance of courtship remains fundamentally the same. The human need for connection has consistently been woven into the fabric of our existence, adapting and evolving with time, but never truly vanishing. The complexities of human relationships are not just a product of modern society, but a reflection of our deeply ingrained evolutionary heritage. So you're struggling with modern dating, feeling overwhelmed by the endless scroll of dating apps, the pressure to present the perfect online persona, the anxieties of rejection, take a deep breath. You're not alone. In fact, your struggles are as old as humanity itself. Let's step back in time, way back, to a time before Tinder, before even written language, to the Paleolithic era, the dawn of humankind. And let's see what our ancestors can teach us about navigating the tricky terrain of love. First, consider the concept of showing off, something our species has been doing since we were banging rocks together to make tools. Remember that impressive mammoth tusk your prehistoric ancestors might have proudly displayed? That, my friends, was the equivalent of today's luxury car or exotic vacation post on Instagram. It screamed, "Look at me. I'm successful. I can provide. I'm a good catch." The basic principle remains unchanged. Attract a mate by demonstrating your value. Of course, the methods have changed. We've traded mammoth tusks for curated social media feeds, but the underlying psychology is strikingly similar. That meticulously staged photo of your perfectly grilled steak, a subtle boast of your culinary skills, implying the ability to provide sustenance and comfort, crucial attributes in any relationship, then and now. Don't underestimate the power of showcasing your positive attributes. Just remember, authenticity always trumps artifice. Nobody wants to date a mammoth tusk that's actually made of styrofoam. Next, let's talk about communication, or rather, the lack thereof. Imagine trying to express your undying love to your crush using only grunts and gestures. Misunderstandings were practically guaranteed. Yet, even with our advanced technology and nuanced language, miscommunication remains a major stumbling block in modern relationships. Remember that time you sent a perfectly innocent text only to have it misinterpreted as a declaration of war? Our cave dwelling ancestors would understand your pain. The moral of the story? Communicate clearly, be mindful of tone and context, and perhaps consider adding a few emojis for good measure. But avoid excessive use of the eggplant emoji on a first date. And what about jealousy? Ah, jealousy, the green eyed monster that has plagued romantic relationships since the dawn of time. In prehistoric times, mate competition was a brutal affair. Fighting over prime hunting grounds or the affections of a desirable mate was commonplace. Today, the battleground has shifted from club fights to passive aggressive social media posts. Still, the underlying emotions remain remarkably consistent. Checking your partner's phone, feeling insecure about their interactions with others, these are all modern echoes of that primal struggle for dominance. The key is to manage these feelings, to foster trust and security within the relationship, and to realize that the fight for survival is better fought side by side, not against each other. Let's delve deeper into social groups. In prehistoric times, your social circle was crucial not just for survival, but also for finding a mate. Finding a partner within your tribe ensured cooperation, reduced conflict, and provided a built in support system. Today, we still rely heavily on our social networks. We are, after all, still social creatures. We might meet potential partners through mutual friends, family introductions, or shared interests. The approval of our tribe, while today expressed in likes and comments on social media, is still an essential component of successful mate selection. The approval of your social circle often influences your choice more than your own feelings. Remember that social acceptance has evolutionary roots and it affects us deeply. And what about the act of courtship itself? In prehistoric times, courtship might involve elaborate displays of skill, strength, or generosity. Today, we might go on extravagant dates, shower our partners with gifts, or publicly declare our affection on Facebook. The principle is the same: attract attention, showcase your suitability as a partner. Yet, the essential element remains consistent: to create a connection, to build rapport, to communicate your suitability to your target partner. Maintaining a long term bond, however, is an entirely different beast, even in the age of social media. Cooperation, communication, and mutual understanding were just as important in prehistoric communities as they are in modern relationships. The daily grind of cohabiting, raising children, resolving conflicts, these challenges are timeless. The conflicts that arise in relationships are less a failure of modern society and more a reflection of our evolved psychological makeup. We are, after all, still grappling with the same fundamental needs and desires that drove our ancestors. But here's a fascinating point: the resilience of human relationships, the enduring capacity for love and commitment, is a powerful testament to our species' innate drive for connection. Despite the myriad of changes that technology and culture have imposed, the underlying emotional needs and desires remain consistent. The yearning for intimacy, the comfort of companionship, the joy of shared experiences. These sentiments resonate throughout history, reminding us that the human need for connection is as primal as our need for food and shelter. The conclusion: modern dating may seem like a minefield of awkward swipes, filtered photos, and potentially disastrous first dates. However, by acknowledging the deep rooted evolutionary forces that shape our romantic lives, we can gain valuable insights into navigating the challenges and appreciating the enduring rewards of human connection. We've moved from grunts to greetings, from cave paintings to Instagram posts, but the fundamental dance of courtship, the pursuit of connection, the longing for love, remains remarkably unchanged. The human need for love is a deeply ingrained part of our evolutionary and cultural history, expressed in different ways, but never really changing. So embrace the journey, learn from the past, and may your future relationships be filled with less grunting and more genuine connection. So, we've journeyed through the millennia, from the grunts and gestures of our Paleolithic ancestors to the meticulously crafted profiles and carefully curated selfies of the modern dating scene. We've seen how the fundamental drives, the need for connection, the desire for companionship, the yearning for love, have remained remarkably consistent throughout human history, even as the methods of expressing these desires have evolved dramatically. But what does this prehistoric perspective tell us about the future of love? The truth is, predicting the future is a fool's errand, even for a comedically inclined paleontologist with a penchant for speculative fiction. However, by examining the past, we can identify some intriguing trends and make some educated and hopefully entertaining guesses about the path ahead. Technology, of course, will play a significant role. We've already witnessed the rise of dating apps, virtual reality interactions, and the increasing integration of technology into our romantic lives. Will this trend continue? Absolutely. Will it lead to utopian bliss or dystopian dating nightmares? That, my friends, is the $1 million question, or perhaps the million swipe question. Imagine a future where advanced AI algorithms meticulously match individuals based on not just superficial preferences, but on deeply ingrained personality traits and genetic compatibility. Picture a world where virtual reality allows us to experience dates in fantastical settings, free from the awkward silences and potential for spilled drinks that plague real world encounters. Sounds idyllic, right? Perhaps, but such a technologically advanced world also carries potential pitfalls. The over reliance on algorithms could lead to a homogenization of relationships, a narrowing of our choices, and a decreased emphasis on the spontaneity and serendipity that often make love so exhilarating. The ease of virtual interaction might also diminish the importance of face to face communication, leaving us ill equipped to navigate the nuances of genuine human connection. Furthermore, the constant connectivity afforded by technology presents its own set of challenges. The fear of missing out, FOMO, might become even more pronounced, fostering anxieties about constant comparison and the pressure to maintain an ever perfect online persona. The ubiquitous nature of social media could intensify feelings of jealousy and insecurity as we constantly observe the seemingly flawless lives of others. Our prehistoric ancestors didn't have to worry about their partner liking someone else's vacation photo. They had to worry about a rival tribe stealing their fire. Both are stressful in their own ways. However, technology is not all doom and gloom. It could also facilitate positive change. Imagine global dating platforms that connect individuals across cultures and geographical boundaries, fostering understanding and breaking down social barriers. Think about online resources that provide readily accessible relationship counseling and support, helping individuals to navigate challenges and build stronger, healthier bonds. Technology, like fire, is a tool. Its impact depends on how we choose to use it. Beyond technology, societal shifts also hold profound implications for the future of love. As gender roles continue to evolve, so too will the dynamics of courtship and relationships. We might see a continued increase in non traditional relationship structures, including polyamory and other forms of consensual non monogamy. The very definition of family might undergo a significant transformation, moving beyond the traditional nuclear model to embrace a broader range of kinship structures. But even as society transforms, certain aspects of human nature will remain remarkably consistent. The basic human need for belonging, the yearning for intimacy, the desire for emotional security, these fundamental drives are deeply ingrained in our evolutionary heritage. They are the bedrock upon which all human relationships, regardless of their form, are built. What can we learn from our prehistoric past to navigate this uncertain future? Firstly, remember the importance of clear communication. Even with sophisticated technology at our fingertips, misunderstanding remains a significant obstacle to connection. While our ancestors relied on grunts and gestures, we have the benefit of language, but we must use it thoughtfully and mindfully. Second, embrace authenticity. While the mammoth tusk might have impressed our ancestors, today's digital equivalents are far more transparent and easily discernible. Authenticity is always more appealing than artifice. Third, Remember the power of community. Our prehistoric ancestors relied on their social networks for survival and mate selection. Today, we continue to seek support and validation from our social circles. While our tribes might be more geographically dispersed and digitally connected, the fundamental human need for belonging endures. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, never underestimate the power of human connection. Our ancestors survived and thrived because of their capacity for cooperation and mutual support. This same capacity for connection remains crucial for our well being and happiness, particularly in the realm of romantic relationships. The future of love might be technologically advanced and socially diverse, but its core essence will remain rooted in the fundamental human need for connection. The pursuit of love, whether expressed through grunts or greetings, is a journey as old as humanity itself, a journey that continues to evolve, but one that will always be defined by our enduring capacity for connection, empathy, and most importantly, a healthy dose of humor to navigate the inevitable bumps in the road. After all, even our cave dwelling ancestors had their share of dating disasters, and somehow they managed to carry on, proving that love, like life, finds a way.